Hello and welcome to this Dynamic Yield by MasterCard video. Today we're taking a look at personalization in the quick services restaurant industry and examining how historically QSRs have been asking the wrong questions about personalization. Let's get into it. Imagine a world where your customers walk into a fast casual restaurant or pull their car into the drive-thru lane and the digital menu board already knows what they want. I'm talking about personalized menu displays based on dietary preferences, past order history, trending items, even weather-based recommendations. Now, I'm here to tell you that this is possible, but QSRs have been too focused on trying to translate the successes within personalization that they've seen in e-commerce. And here's why it's not apples to apples. If you are online shopping for clothes, the odds of you buying multiple shirts or multiple clothing items in general, the odds there are pretty strong because you're shopping for products that you'll use multiple times. You're shopping for the future. But in QSR, consumer behavior is very different. Customers are shopping for the here and now, which means they're not showing up in the drive-thru lane to purchase meals for the week or even for the day. For example, when recommending different shirt styles like these here on the left could be a great move for an e-commerce store with a customer who just added a shirt to their cart. If you're a QSR, recommending additional meal options to what a customer just ordered doesn't achieve the same results. It would make more sense to recommend items that complement the meal. So by asking the right questions, QSRs can ensure a positive experience in line with the needs and nuances of their industry and also open the door to achieving more significant revenue impact from personalization. Now, these are the most important questions that QSRs should be asking. How can we personalize the experience for unidentified customers? How can we create the right menu assortment for different contexts and user preferences? And how do we measure the effectiveness of our customer experience strategies? Because it's no use implementing a strategy if you can't see that it's working. Let's zoom in on each of these. First, how can we personalize for unidentified customers? It's a shift from focusing on what we're doing for known customers. But tailoring the experience for the known customers is a given and can be done using the data that you have. Information like purchase history, loyalty program data, dietary preferences, and engagement information is all available for you to draw from. But how many guests does this really represent? As it turns out, only about 1 in 10. Meaning, if QSRs zero in on the 90% of unidentified transactions and improve the experience for them, even slightly, there's some big revenue potential there. But how? Use contextual data. I'm talking about factors that can be used to make the experience more relevant and reflective of their surroundings. Let's take a look at some of these factors. Restaurant location, current inventory, existing order items, time of day, product popularity, and even the current weather conditions can all contribute to creating a more personalized restaurant experience. For example, with current inventory, QSRs can showcase or remove particular items based on what's available and how much. Or current weather conditions. If it's sweltering outside, your customers are much more likely to want something cool, refreshing, maybe even frozen. Inversely, you'd want to adapt the menu depending on if it was bitterly cold outside. By thinking about these contextual factors and building experiences off of them, QSRs are able to optimize the entire restaurant ordering process for 100% of guests, from highlighting relevant items before the order starts to recommending complimentary items during the order and ending with some last-minute ideal add-ons as the order comes to a close. On to question 2. How can we create the right menu assortment for different contexts and different user preferences? Let's focus on the restaurant location for a moment. No two restaurants are the same. And by harnessing the data for a particular restaurant, QSRs can be much more accurate in their experience delivery. Not by a regional level, not by a state level, but on a restaurant-by-restaurant basis. The menus can adapt and update, taking into account things like local taste preferences and weather forecasts, as well as time of day, to ensure that the menu board display is featuring the most relevant assortment. As you can see here with different menu layouts for Minnesota at lunchtime on a cold day and California during breakfast on a warm day. Giving the restaurant the best chance to influence order behavior in real time and increase average check size for every customer who comes to the restaurant. But it's not always about what you display. Sometimes it's about what you don't display. For example, your ice cream machine might be broken. Hey, it happens. Instead of featuring the ice cream cones or other items that depend on that machine, you can remove them entirely, and instead feature other dessert items that would still scratch the dessert itch and turn that potentially negative interaction into a positive interaction. Finally, suggestive selling based on what's trending and what's currently a part of the customer's order. Trending, seasonal, limited time items are great to feature as recommendations. Similarly, items that complement a customer's existing order work well as last-minute additions. So if a customer orders a chicken sandwich, chances are, they like chicken. Now, if this were an e-commerce store, a best practice might be to recommend similar items, like a shirt, as mentioned in our previous example, which in QSR would translate to another meal. But suggestive selling in this industry should include complementary items and not those that could replace or reduce confidence in their initial order. In other words, if they want a chicken sandwich, let them have it, and don't distract them with a chicken wrap. Recommending a side, a drink, or a dessert instead of other meals is a much better experience for your customers, and it's more likely to result in incremental increase in revenue for the restaurant. Question 3. How do we measure the effectiveness of our CX strategies? Let's take some advice from Ori Bauer, CEO of Dynamic Yield by MasterCard. He says, not all metrics should be weighted equally. For example, while commonly effective for other verticals, take rate tells a restaurant less about their business results in incremental revenue than check size. Now, what do we mean by this? Let's look at the incredibly popular, always delicious, ubiquitous, incomparable French fry. The thing about French fries is they come with pretty much everything, and people are almost always going to order them. So if you're looking at how well your CX strategies are actually performing, take rate isn't a great metric to measure your French fry recommendation, which would be 100% without it. But if we look at incremental value, it tells a completely different story. This is the importance of selecting the right metric to see if your strategies are delivering the intended results. Like all verticals, QSR has its own nuances that must be taken into account. A well-equipped personalization provider will employ deep learning AI algorithms that are specifically trained to understand its different metrics, scenarios, and capabilities. So it's possible to review and analyze enormous swaths of data, helping QSRs to understand their status quo, improve their experiences, and scale. For example, algorithms can review every check that a fountain drink was included on, and it can understand the impact of recommending that item against various other KPIs, like check size or revenue, and across channels. So QSRs can make the most informed decisions possible about what and how to optimize their strategy. If you want to read more on this subject, you can check out Ori's article in QSR Magazine, as well as in our XP Squared Learning Center, both of which are linked below. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time.